One of these animals gives birth through an organ shaped like a male's anatomy. Another carries babies so massive they physically crowd out her internal organs. And one species loses its mothers so frequently during first births. Scientists consider it one of the deadliest reproductive events in nature. These are not myths. These are real animals. And these are the most brutal births in the animal kingdom. Here's your first twist. The seahorse that gives birth is the male. The female deposits eggs into the male's brood pouch, and he carries them, sometimes hundreds of them, for weeks. When labor begins, he goes through full muscular contractions, his body bending and convulsing repeatedly, sometimes for hours on end, to expel every single offspring. Watch footage of a male seahorse giving birth, and you will never look at these animals the same way again. He writhes, he contracts, he pushes, over and over. Nature didn't decide who suffers here based on fairness. It decided based on anatomy, and this time, it was Dad. For most dogs, labor is already a long, exhausting ordeal. Hours of contractions, multiple puppies, each one needing to push through the same narrow canal. But for flat-faced breeds, bulldogs, French bulldogs, pugs, it goes from painful to life-threatening. These dogs were bred by humans to have massive, wide skulls, and those skulls do not fit through the birth canal. The puppy gets stuck. The mother strains until she can't strain anymore. Without emergency surgery, both die. It is a birth complication deliberately engineered into the breed, not by nature, but by us. A newborn foal can weigh over 100 pounds. It arrives hooves first, long legs fully extended, pushing through the birth canal at speed. The margin for error? Basically zero. If that foal shifts position even slightly, labor locks up entirely. The mother is in agony. The foal begins running out of oxygen. Every single second matters. Horse breeders call it dystocia. Those who've witnessed it describe it as one of the most terrifying things they've ever seen. 100-pound animal, stuck, a mother in crisis. Nature gave horses speed, grace, and power. It did not give them a forgiving way out. Don't let the size fool you. Guinea pig babies are enormous relative to the mother's pelvis. They're born fully developed. Fur, teeth, open eyes. Some of the most proportionally large newborns of any small mammal alive. For first-time mothers whose pelvic bones haven't yet separated fully, the birth becomes dangerous fast. Rupture is a genuine risk. Hemorrhaging is a genuine risk. Death during delivery is a genuine risk. An animal small enough to hold in one hand, facing one of the most disproportionately extreme births on this entire list. This mother gives birth standing 6 feet off the ground, and when it's done, the newborn falls. A giraffe calf drops roughly 6.5 feet onto hard earth. The impact shock actually stimulates the calf's breathing. It's a necessary part of survival. But the mother just endured full labor to push a 100-pound calf out of her body, and has no way to soften what comes next. The calf must stand within an hour or be killed by predators. The mother gets no recovery period either. No rest, no gentleness, just the next threat, already approaching. "22 months. That is how long an elephant carries her calf, the longest land animal pregnancy on Earth. And then labor begins. A calf that can weigh 250 pounds must be pushed through the birth canal. The sheer size of the newborn causes severe physical trauma, stretching, tearing, and damage to the mother's reproductive tract that can take weeks to heal. 2 years of patience, followed by one of the most physically punishing deliveries in the mammal world. The elephant endures both every time. A Tasmanian devil can give birth to up to 50 joeys at once. 50. Here is the brutal reality. She has 4 nipples. The moment those joeys are born, raisin-sized, blind, helpless, up to 50 of them begin a desperate scramble across their mother's body toward the pouch. Most of them will not make it. only 4 can survive. The mother cannot choose. She cannot intervene. She endures the chaos as nature runs its merciless numbers. 46 will die, 4 will live, and she will go through all of it again. Humans belong on this list, higher than most people expect. Here is why. Walking upright reshaped our entire pelvis, narrowing it, tilting it, redesigning it around locomotion. At the same time, human brains kept growing, generation after generation, producing babies with significantly larger skulls than almost any other primate. The result, a baby's head that barely fits through the birth canal of a walking human mother. Before modern medicine, maternal death in childbirth was shockingly common. We are one of the only species on Earth where giving birth without medical help is genuinely, consistently life-threatening. The same intelligence that built civilizations almost kills us on the way out. Most reptiles lay eggs. The shingleback lizard does not. It gives birth to live young, usually just 1 or 2, and those babies can represent more than 30% of the mother's entire body weight. Pause on that. If a human mother experienced the same ratio, that baby would weigh 45 pounds. The internal compression, the skeletal strain, the structural weight of carrying offspring that massive inside a body that small. The shingleback lizard rarely makes headlines, but pound for pound, this is one of the most physically extreme births in the entire reptile world. Baby porcupines are born with quills. Now, at birth, those quills are soft, flexible, designed to harden only after the porcupette is safely out. But here's the problem. If the baby turns the wrong direction inside the birth canal, those quills snag, and the birth that was supposed to be safe becomes catastrophic. The mother's internal tissue tears. The damage can be permanent. Most births go fine. The ones that don't, they are not fine at all. Most people have never heard of a tenrec. They're small mammals from Madagascar, and they give birth to litters of up to 32 young at once, one of the largest litter sizes documented in any mammal species. But here's what makes this entry genuinely disturbing. Like porcupines, certain tenrec species are born with sharp, already hardening spines. The physical stress of delivering such an enormous litter, some already developing defensive spines, in a single labor session is among the most extreme reproductive demands placed on any small mammal. 32 babies, spines, 1 mother, no help. In a naked mole rat colony, only 1 female breeds, the queen, and her body pays a price that has to be seen to be believed. As her litter develops, sometimes up to 30 pups, the sheer mass of growing offspring doesn't just stretch her, it structurally transforms her. Her spine elongates, her skeleton widens, the connective tissue of her frame deforms under the weight she's carrying, reshaping her body into something it was never designed to become. Then she gives birth to nearly 30 pups. Her skeleton is permanently altered by pregnancy, and when this litter is done, she will do it again. The kiwi bird lays the proportionally largest egg of any bird species on Earth. That egg can weigh up to 20% of the mother's entire body weight. But here's what people don't fully grasp: what that actually looks and feels like from the inside. In the final days before laying, the egg grows so large it physically displaces her other organs. Her stomach is pushed aside. There is simply no room left. She cannot eat. For the final days of her pregnancy, the kiwi is starving. Not by choice, but because her own egg has taken over the space inside her body. And then she lays it. An egg so enormous it looks medically impossible, from a bird small enough to hold in 2 hands. The spiny dogfish carries one of the longest pregnancies of any vertebrate on Earth, up to 2 full years. And the pups she has been carrying all that time are born fully formed, fully developed, and fully armed. Sharp dorsal spines, present from birth, present during birth. Scientists believe those dorsal spines can cause significant internal scraping and tissue damage as each pup passes through the birth canal, delivery after delivery, for an entire litter. She does this for a litter of up to 15 pups, 2 years of carrying them, and then this. This is the one, the birth that scientists and wildlife researchers point to as the most physically devastating reproductive event documented in the animal kingdom. Female spotted hyenas do not have a traditional birth canal. Because of extreme androgen levels in their biology, female hyenas are effectively masculinized. They develop what is called a pseudopenis, an elongated clitoris, several inches long, that becomes the only passage through which they can give birth. It is approximately 1 inch wide. The cub that must pass through it weighs about 1 pound. And then it happens. The tissue tears open. First-time mothers experience severe lacerations, internal hemorrhaging, and physical rupture. In observed populations, up to 60% of firstborn cubs suffocate before they can emerge, stuck in that impossibly narrow passage, running out of oxygen before birth is complete. And the mothers? In some observed populations, mortality rates among first-time hyena mothers during delivery were extraordinarily high. From blood loss, from rupture, from shock. If she survives, subsequent births are somewhat less lethal. The scar tissue has torn open a slightly wider path. The damage has already been done, but the first time, there is no birth in the documented animal kingdom more consistently, more measurably, more catastrophically devastating than this one, the spotted hyena. Most of them made it. That is what life does. It finds a way. Drop a comment below. Which animal on this list hit you the hardest? Like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.